friends? Welcome back to yet another exciting episode of Friends of the Squared Circle. As you see, I'm your host, Crander Q, a.k.a. my real name. Today, we have a new friend joining us. Nick is here with us today. Nick was one of the few that was excited to come on our show. Nick, how are you today?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. I know we talked off camera about how I'm finally catching up to everybody that made me Mr. Popular. So I can't thank you enough for reaching out and supporting us here at Friends of the Squared Circle. It's been overwhelming. I know most people don't get too excited about, 500 followers, but, the page blew up. Still trying to get through those messages and still work with other podcasts because they want me on. I feel like a mini celebrity. People are probably like, you're not that cool, but I'm overwhelmed with the response that it's been. So, it's been crazy. So,
oh, I know. When it comes to responses like that, and then it feels like you ain't popular, it's just, and you're not used to it. It's like, oh, well, what's going on? Maybe I'm on the right track. So it's good. It's always good to progress.
And like I said, you're new here. So can you give us kind of a quick backstory about yourself, and then just dive into your those earliest memories of wrestling there. Excuse me.
Okay, well, first off, I am a professional wrestler. I go by the King of Battle, Nick Quinones.
Oh, nice. Okay.
In my earliest days of wrestling, I would say the Attitude Era and
Okay.
the Monday Night Wars.
Okay. Was there anything that sucked you in? Was there a character? Was there a match, a video game, maybe seeing it in a magazine? And not to be mean, I'm sure we didn't see it on the internet right away during the Attitude Era there, unless you did. So,
no, but I had the friends I grew up with, they was into wrestling more than I was at the beginning.
Okay.
And then I started trying to get in. Like, my mother didn't allow me to watch wrestling when I was a kid.
Seems to be a trend. Yep.
But every time I snuck wrestling, somehow I kept getting WCW more than WWF.
Okay.
Rey Mysterio was the one that sucked me in.
Okay.
Because honestly, before he lost the mask, I thought he was legitimately a child wrestling. And I was like, wow, this guy looks like a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And that sucked me in.
Yeah, I just saw a TikTok where I think one of the other wrestlers was doing a voiceover, him and Eddie's match, where he had saw Ray backstage, and he had the same thought process as you. Is like, who's the 12-year-old? Why is he out here wrestling? What is happening in this company? But yeah, I mean, for me as a kid, I thought he was an adult because I didn't know any better. But that's kind of funny that you say that. And then to hear another pro wrestler who was actually on that show saying the same thing. So,
oh yeah.
So was it more Ray's flashy moveset? Was it his gear? What was it about Rey Mysterio?
Everything really. It was the gear because I was a big fan of the Phantom outfit.
Okay.
The Phantom.
Mm-hmm.
I was a big fan of that one because I really liked that movie, so that's why that one.
Zane, wow. Billy Zane, yep.
But then it was also the moveset, the way he moved in the ring. He was in that time, there was not that many people. Like, I've seen all the other LWO get formed, the Luchadors coming up, but Rey Mysterio's movesets were just completely different than everyone else, no matter what.
Yeah, those cruiserweights, we say it all the time on here, they were the workers. They were the ones that actually had the good matches. Whereas, Hogan's, they were the big stars, but your Eddies, your Rays, your Chris Jerichos, the guys that actually could work. And it's unfortunate that they didn't get a bigger spotlight for how talented they were. I always liked the cruiserweights. I was a Jericho, Benoit. We're not going to get into his past or whatever, more just the character, but and then there was Alex Wright. I always forget his name, even though I say it on the podcast all the time. He was like a little Hawaiian guy that came on, and I thought he was kind of cool. And Psychosis. I mean, I can go on and on about the cruiserweights. The masks were just iconic themselves, And it sucks that WCW did kill the the Luchas by having them take off their masks, because I'm pretty sure they unmasked almost every Lucha minus La Parca. So
I would say so, yeah, because the Psychosis unmasked in WCW?
Yep. And then I believe it was
Juventud. Juventud was the first one.
Yeah.
And then eventually Ray. I wasn't sure if Psychosis did. I think Psychosis did towards the end.
Okay.
Because I do remember when he came to WWF, he was unmasked. So I can't remember if it was during that time or if it happened at ECW or somewhere in between there, like he had the Blues in there.
Gotcha. And knowing my friend Randy here, who has the highest views, sorry, I got to plug this guy real quick. I told you off camera we got to talk about this jerk. He's got the highest views, folks. You know, we got to beat that record one day. Hopefully, Nick is the one that can do it here. But I'm sure he'll go back and he'll look in the archives and correct me, because that's what he does every episode. At least he's watching the episodes. But I literally get 30 text messages that I'm wrong on everything. So
really.
Secretly, he's a nice guy, but he likes to critique everything I say on here, every fumble of words, anything. It's great. But but back to the Luchas. I mean, you know, those, if I could have bought stuff back in the day, or even if they put it out, because I don't think WCW put any good merch out except for those big guys. But you know, Monday Night Jericho was, you know, I was all about Jericho and his whining. And his little road manager would come out with the half shirt on. And then him and Dean Malenko.
That big guy? What was his name?
I believe it starts with an R.
I forgot his name.
Oh, man, it's going to bug me. It's not, I don't think it's Rufus. It's something... Because, yeah, even in Chris Jericho's book, he talks about how the guy wanted to add elements to his character. He's like, dude, you're a truck driver. You're just walking me to the ring. You're not supposed to be doing anything else except for to be, you know, the one to catch heat. Yeah, and I think I showed that picture to my wife, Randy, take a shot, that we could do that for a Halloween costume, and she didn't find it funny. So, yeah. I have no shame, and I say a lot of weird things in public, and she just tells me to shut up all the time. But speaking of Chris Jericho, when he read that paper off to Dean Malenko, the man of 1,001 holds,
yes,
you know, and it just arm bar, and then they would go to commercial, and he'd get the crowd riled up, and they'd come back and read 3 more. But yeah, that's when Chris Jericho was good, folks. I'm not sure if you're a huge fan of his AEW stuff. I know my friends aren't too thrilled with him or impressed, but I haven't really seen too much of the AEW stuff. So
I seen a few. He did have a few good matches recently. Not much to talk about. I'm trying to remember who it was. He had a really good match with Hoovy when they brought Hoovy in.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Hoovy probably did all the great work for him. So, yeah, so we're going to stay on WCW before we keep going with your fandom here. I got to ask you, were you a Disco Inferno fan? Because right now I got to get like a board or something anytime we talk wrestling. Were you pro disco or didn't like disco? Because the majority likes disco, so I got to get your input on that question.
I wasn't really into the Disco Inferno character.
Okay, so you'll be in the small group there then. Okay, I just have to get that out because I don't know. I like disco. I was a child. I didn't have good taste. I always thought he was cool. So. So what with WCW, was there anybody else in that that you liked besides Ray?
Oh yeah, Macho Man.
Oh, okay.
I like the Macho. There's quite a few.
Okay.
Movie, Macho Man, La Parca, Psychosis. Of course, Bret Hart, Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, Sting. I'm trying to think. Kidman. I was a Kidman and Raven fan.
Oh, okay. Yep. I like the Flock. I just put up a video about him and Tommy Dreamer the other day, who people like better, and Raven was getting a lot of reviews. And I liked it. I always thought he just dressed cool. You know, with the flannel. I wear a lot of flannel now. The jean jacket or the leather jacket. I just, you know, he was mysterious and sat in the corner.
Yeah.
So, do you remember the name of the big guy they had? Oh man, he just stuck out like a Thor's thumb. Wow, I can't talk today.
The big tall guy.
Yeah, he was part of that group. He just popped back in my memory, but I just remember him being.
Was it Lodi?
Okay, that sounds about right.
I can't remember if he was the big guy or if he was someone else in the flock, but I do remember there was a Lodi. And I think it is the big guy because I seen him on a flyer recently for, I want to say South Carolina or North Carolina show up there.
Okay, gotcha. All right. So did you go to any live events when you were young? I know you said your mom didn't like it. Did like any other relatives take you, or were you lucky to see some indie stuff growing up?
When I was younger, I didn't get to go to no live events when I was a kid.
Okay.
But I did end up at I don't know if it was an actual I don't know if it was an independent show or if it was just a signing. Like I ended up at like a little signing. It was like in the ice skate ring. They might have been still there. I'm not too sure, but I think we ended up there at the end of the show because we saw a few of the legends. Like I know Roddy Piper was there.
Oh, very nice.
Who else? There was quite a few people there. I can't remember names. I was young.
Gotcha. So did your fandom keep going with you for like your early childhood to your teens to adulthood, or did you have some breaks in there?
Oh no, I watched wrestling. The only time I stopped was when I was in the Army because I didn't watch TV that much.
Makes sense.
When I did, I think that was the time also like WWF just got kind of stale to me a little bit.
Okay.
That was from between like 2006 to 2010, 2011. Like it's kind of the period that I really, really watched. And I tried watching other stuff. I tried watching TNA at the time. I tried then TNA was when I think at that time Kurt Angle and everyone was showing up over there.
Oh, okay.
So like I was somewhat getting into that, but then I just didn't really get back into wrestling until after that.
Okay.
Maybe like 2011, 12 when Nexus came in and all that. Like I started really getting into it. NXT is what really brought me back to WWE.
Perfect. Yeah, that's kind of around the time that I started getting back into it was WrestleMania 25. The match that sticks out in that first, going back and watching it was Randy Orton and Triple H. And what captivated me so much was just how psychotic Randy Orton was when he was more the Viper. I know they compare it to him now, but this was on a whole nother level of just disrespect, and just, I mean, I remember, I know they just recently kind of recreated an AEW, but when Randy had Triple H handcuffed to the rope and he's about to do his patented DDT on Steph, and
that build up to it, I remember that.
And I just remember thinking, wow, I know predetermined, faked, whatever, but that just sucked me in like, holy cow, Randy Orton is a badass. He's going to be my favorite going forward because I think wrestling kind of helped me get through some stuff because I was buying the DVDs at the time. But, I just remember in 2008 watching that WrestleMania at my buddy Rick's house and just thinking, wow, Randy Orton is my guy right now. So. Yeah, and then he had Legacy, and then he was feuding with feuding with John Cena. I know people hated it, but those guys had some good matches, and it was two different styles clashing, and I liked it for what it was. Whoop, just kicked the ring camera. I'm all over the place today. I'm excited.
It's all good.
But Orton definitely. One of those generation talents. It sucks that he's going out the way he kind of is right now, and hopefully he can come back and have that last little ride to sail off into the sunset. So
I'm hoping he's able to come back at least for just to finish up his career on a higher note.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's done damn near everything there is to do in WWE.
Oh yeah.
I think the whole Arcade Bro thing was just him having fun.
Yep. And it's funny because, I've, heard now, and he said it himself, so it's not like I'm exposing anything, how he was kind of just arrogant, just some young kid that thought he was the king of the kings,
Hmm.
pun intended there with Triple H. But like, he's just so smug, and he's just like, God, I was such a jerk back then. And he talks about how one of his biggest regrets was he partied all night, the night before he had to do walkthroughs with Taker, and he was late. Um, and he was so disappointed in himself because his dad was upset, Taker was upset, and they went out and killed it. But it kind of woke him up a little bit, like maybe I'm not as cool as I think I am. So,
Yep.
but is there anybody today that you are a big fan of? WWE, TNA, AEW, Ring of
Like,
Honor, any of those promotions? Anybody that sticks out today for you?
there's quite a few people actually. Like I'm more towards like the smaller and technical guys for the most
Okay.
part. Like Brian Danielson's one of my top guys right
Love
now.
Daniel. Wow, I cannot talk. Randy's gonna eat me alive in the comments.
Brian Danielson,
Hmm.
Claudio
Oh,
Castagnoli,
hmm.
Cody. I've been a fan of Cody Rhodes since he was in Legacy.
Yep. Same here. Yep.
Um,
I'm a huge Rhodes guy here. I got Dusty's book back there. I've got Gold Dust, both back there. I've met Dustin and Cody. I wish I could have met Dusty before he passed, but such is life. But
that's cool. Let's see who else. There's quite a few people, and I'm more about the body of work more than characters.
oh, it makes sense. Yeah, everybody's got
That's what I
a
get.
thing, man. So yeah.
But sometimes some characters like Orange Cassidy, I like Orange Cassidy,
Okay.
but he has a real good body of work to go with
Hmm.
the non-select, not nonchalant character that he's doing.
Hmm. Now,
Um,
are you aware of any of his previous work before he was more Orange Cassidy? I
I've
believe I
seen
did the.
a few. I've seen
What's
a
that?
few. I've seen a
Okay.
few. I forgot what the character that he was going with before, but
Hmm.
I've seen like a few things of him.
Yeah, I
And
think
he's
he was in
very
Chikara, and they did a lot of those character things. Like they were the fire ants and the army ants and stuff.
yeah. The
Mike Quackenbush was the owner, I think, of that. And then there's a local guy here who goes by Super Atomic Thunder Frog. He's a frog. He's got a big old powerful hammer. I'll have to send you some stuff here.
he
Orange
was
Cassidy's come through the Minneapolis, Minnesota area a lot. I remember he was doing his meet and greets after, and I was like, "Hey man, how much for a photo?" He's like, "Whatever." And I'm like, 20, 10. He's like, "Nah, man, just take the photo." And I was like, "Okay," and it was just so random, and I didn't realize that was more of his character at the time. But yeah, he can go. I know a lot of people don't care for the little put his hands in his pocket thing, but it's different. He stands out. I mean, the nice thing about wrestling is it's so diverse. Um, you know, uh, he's kind of a comedy character, I would say.
yeah.
Whereas, some other guys are serious. You need that balance to fill up the whole show. That way, everybody gets a little flavor here and there. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I like
Definitely.
Orange Cassidy. He's wrestled, like I said, down here a few times, and one of our sponsors here, Darren Corbin, and him had a match, and Darren just gets so pissed off at him. I was mad at Orange Cassidy because he beat Darren's, 1 year mark as champion by a day. So I booed him. Sorry, Orange Cassidy, if I ever get to talk to you again. But Darren's my guy here in the Midwest. Yeah, Orange Cassidy, he's going to break out. I think he will. He's getting a big following now that with AEW.
Yeah,
And
he,
Danhausen, another character that just it's different. It's catchy. I will say it's enjoyable. It's not your Bret Hart and Kurt Angle. It's a whole different ball game, and I like it. So
it is. When I started watching him a little bit in Ring of Honor before it became part of AEW, it just caught my interest. I'm like, who is like? I seen one random promo on Facebook by him,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, who the hell is this guy? I'm just watching it, and it was just, I'm like, wow. I'm like, he's really like his own wordplay with it. I'm like, I enjoyed it. I watched even some of his YouTube videos.
Mm-hmm.
The thing, just him, just everyday life, just as Denhousing, and
Yeah.
I'm like, this dude just cracks me up.
Yeah, I was just a little bummed when he did the interview with Jericho that he stayed in character, just because I got all the biographies behind me. I always mention them. I just like knowing people's story. That's kind of what we do here. I wanted to kind of know more about his history and stuff, but he was more in character there. So I was like, all right, well, maybe he'll put out a book or he'll actually, do some stuff. He's another one that comes through this area. All the time. He's on local shows around here. We're pretty lucky. They actually had a huge Mall of America show. We've talked about that on previous episodes.
Yeah.
I'll have to send you some stuff so you can see that. Because I'm sure you knew about WCW being there at the Mall of America.
Yeah.
And this was the first one in like 27 years. The mall was celebrating its 30-year anniversary, so we got to go see that. Sold out. Fans on 4 levels screaming. It was a great time.
That's cool.
Yeah. So now you mentioned you're a pro wrestler.
Yes.
Let's break down that process. We won't get into too much of your career because that's another podcast, but let's talk about how the idea came to light, who influenced you, and how you kind of developed that character.
Who influenced what, my character or me getting into wrestling?
Like who's the one that you kind of put your body of work behind? Like you like the smaller technician guys. You do a lot of technicianal stuff with your in-ring gear. You like Rey Mysterio being flashy and stuff. Do you kind of model that? I know we're new friends here, so just
No,
trying to kind of.
Mine is a little different. Like I do so my gear is mainly depends on what I'm wearing that day. I'll have the camouflage with my I do it based on my army base that I
Okay,
was stationed on. So I
nice.
have my unit patch on one side. I have the main division patch on the other.
Okay,
Then I have the PTSD awareness of American flag on the backside with it's all white with the PTSD teal blue with just one of the lines being teal blue
okay,
because the white resembles like America in distress.
okay.
So it's pretty much saying we're in distress with PTSD.
Very nice, very nice. Not that the PSD is nice. Sorry,
Yeah.
that you're advocating for that. I know we've had other people on here with autism and some other stuff. I don't want to just throw it all everybody's business out there, but that's really neat. You'll have to send us links and stuff. We'll definitely give follows and stuff. I know. Again, I keep saying it. We're new friends here.
Oh yeah, definitely.
We want to follow you. We want to watch your journey. In our last episode, we had someone from the UK, and I was all giggly for that. As well as you now, I want to see your stuff. I want to support you, show you off. I know we're small time here, but that's what Friends of the Squared Circle is about, is just lifting our friends. Who knows? Are you pretty active in wrestling now, or is it
Yeah.
okay?
I'm very
So
active.
you never know. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm just spitballing it. You might catch an eye of a local promoter here, and next thing you know, I'm waving at you from the crowd. So it's all about networking. I say it all the time. We're very blessed here in the Minneapolis area. There's 20 some promotions. I could name some, but I would forget some. It's a great time for wrestling. But let's get back into your wrestling story there. Sorry, I'm just kind of
you're
geeking out again. So that's why I love this show. And it's my show, so
Yep, it's your show, and you do whatever you want.
it's my face on the marquee. So go ahead.
But no, I do more like with that, like I have the army one, then I'll have another pair of shorts that's all like my Puerto Rican heritage. I have Puerto Rico symbols on it.
Okay.
In ring style, I can be very technical. Like I've trained with Josh Woods before.
Okay.
So and he's taught us real because he's done MMA also, so he's taught us real good. So I mixed it in with my military combatants. So I can mix it in to where I could be very technical, and I model myself technical wise, like with Daniel Bryan and Oh, excuse me,
Cool.
Brian Danielson, Claudio. But then I'm also slightly heavy set. So I'll go into the brawling like Kevin Owens
Mm-hmm.
and Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe's someone I do somewhat model myself as a big guy that could do technical stuff. But I'm also very unorthodox.
Okay.
Like I'll do random stuff. Like I'm very athletic for someone my size, and I'm not even that big.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like a Kevin Owens size, almost, pretty much. So it's like I'm very athletic with what I do. So I'm always changing up things here and there.
Very nice. And you keep mentioning Kevin Owens and Samoa Joe, and if you're putting that all together, I can just imagine like when you're working as a heel, like just being brutalizing, being smart, being Samoa Joe's a badass, man. Like when he confronted Brock Lesnar, whew, man, I get goosebumps. Just he's like, and he's cutting that promo where Brock's just laughing. He's like, "Look at me," I was like, "Oh shit!" Like it's getting real, But Samoa Joe. That's a guy I wish would have had another, little better run in WWE, but injuries and, timing and all that happened. I'm not going to sit here and blame Vince like every other wrestling fan in the world, because I like to think I'm a little smarter than the average bear, where, things backstage happen, injuries, disciplinary or, so. But, that's pretty cool. Like I said, you got to send us that stuff. We're going to show you off on Wednesdays like we do everybody else now that you've been on an episode.
Okay.
Because, like I said, who knows? All it takes is one video. Like Randy here. Oh, my gosh. I hate talking about this guy. It just takes one video. And like I said, who knows? I got to, I'm going to sound like a pompous jerk here, but I got a few promoter friends. They might look at your stuff and say, hey, ever want to come to Wisconsin? You ever want to come enjoy those brats, beer, and cheese? We got it, so.
I'll do it, too. I think I know a wrestler up in Wisconsin.
Okay.
Yeah, his name is Kobe.
Okay.
I don't remember his last name. I wrestled him one time here in Florida.
Okay. Was it, did he go by Cody Rice? I'm trying to think of his name now. Who knows? We'll have to deep dive into that and then totally brag about that. Because, that's one thing about wrestling, too, is like you guys get to go all over. One of my little goals in life is to go over and, see wrestling, eat tacos in every state, make new friends, So I'm a big guy. I'm an eater. I'm an Otis fan through and through. Built just like the man. So, I got weird goals in life, too. But so is there anything on your wrestling bucket list as of now that you're kind of excited to go after? Goals, like working a certain person in your area, travel? What are some of your wrestling goals?
More traveling. Like I've done a little bit of travel.
Okay.
Like I'm based out of Florida.
Okay.
My very first match happened in 2012 in New Jersey.
Okay.
And that's my actual home state. I was born in New York, raised in Jersey.
Okay.
My bucket list goal is to wrestle there again.
Nice.
I only did that one match there, and that was it.
Okay.
I want to wrestle there again. I want to go back to Puerto Rico and wrestle because I wrestled there once this past year.
That would be fun.
And it's true. Like whatever you saw on Backlash, that's really, even the independent circuit, you get that feel.
Yeah.
Those fans are truly, really into the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, that was a fun show. Seeing the legends come back like Carlito, Savio Vega. I remember him as a kid when him and Stone Cold were getting into it before, Stone Cold's rise, the strap match. One of the matches I always liked, I don't know why, it's the Four Corners match where they got to touch each thing. And I think that was, yep. Yeah, it's kind of a cool concept. Just kind of like, oh, is he going to get all four? And then, rips them back at three, So, Savio Vega was always cool as a kid. And just the pop for Carlito. I know he's had a completely different trajectory than everybody probably thought. Everybody wants him to come back, but he's just killing it on the indies. He's actually going to be at a local show that I'll be at. I don't know if this will come out before or after, so I'm just mentioning it. But hopefully I can get a picture with him and, ask him a few questions about that night. So,
Hopefully, because I know he wrestles a lot here in Florida.
Mhm.
I'm actually was on a show recently with his cousin Orlando,
Oh,
the former Epico.
okay, yep. He teamed with Primo, right? Yep.
Yeah, yeah. I was on
That's
the
another
show
group
with
that
last
like could
month.
work, but they just it sucks that the guys that can actually work don't catch on so much.
Mhm.
Whereas then you get, big left foot Joe, out there who's, doesn't do anything right, but, has popularity beyond popularity. And sometimes it just baffles me.
There's a
And I
few.
don't, yeah,
I know exactly what you're talking.
it's like you got, I call him almost all the time. He's catching on, he's getting better, but it's just like, oh man, there's some other people in there, that locker room that could really use a rub right now. And you're kind of sticking this guy down our throats. Like, I get it. He's the big attraction, the circus thing, but, give me more Sheamus, give me more, some of these other guys, that could definitely be out there and giving us a little bit more quality. But,
Yeah.
unfortunately, that's how they get time. I'm just being picky. So
We all get picky. There's certain people. Like I'm a big Karrion Kross fan.
okay.
I like Karrion Kross for his size and what he can do. And I'm like, hopefully they could give him a bigger shine than what they're really giving him right now.
Yeah, I know. You mentioned NXT being one of your things. Like, I know he was killing it down there.
He was.
They kind of fumbled him coming up. Again, I'm not going to blame Vince. There's other things that happen, folks. That kind of happened. And then the pandemic happened and stuff. And then now he's back and he's trying to find his way, and he's starting to put on some good matches.
Mhm.
And I actually saw, I believe it's his wife, Scarlett,
Yeah.
just randomly in the show in North Dakota back in like 2013, and didn't realize it was the same person. So
That's cool.
that was kind of shocking. So I got a blurry picture of her back in the day and didn't even realize they were the same person. So, and that's what we always say here is like, make sure to meet everybody because you never know who you're gonna run into. So
That is true.
mhm.
I've run into like Swerve Strickland. I ran into him about 3 times already.
Okay.
And the first time I helped him move.
Oh, nice.
I helped him move from his apartment to the house, and then I saw him like a year later.
Hmm.
I was at a Tommy N seminar,
Okay.
and he looked at me. He was like, "You." I'm like, "Hey."
My friend Abby would be so jealous. She's obsessed with him. And
Yeah.
I'm saying obsessed, Abby. Yes, I know you watch. You're obsessed. Her and her Adam Cole and Swerve, and he's another one that's come through the local promotion down here. I mean, like I said, we are blessed down here. He's come through. He worked 2 nights in a row for what we call WrestlePalooza up here for First Avenue, First Wrestling.
I've heard of WrestlePalooza.
Okay. Yeah, and I'm trying to think of the Japanese legend that he worked off the top of my head, but I don't do a lot of reporting, as you can see here. But it was definitely a unique style that they were working. And then Darby Allin worked a completely different match the second night, and it was like, holy cow! Like the way people can just switch it up is amazing. So
yeah, it's different. You gotta learn. You pretty much gotta learn all different techniques and styles. That's why some of them they travel and train all over the world because everywhere's different. I tried, like I've trained in a few different places between Jersey and Florida, and then I did a little bit in Puerto Rico. But like I'm trying to learn more. I would like to travel. Unfortunately, my age now, if I stood in wrestling when I started in 2012, I would have been traveling a lot more.
Yeah.
With my age now, and then my family, I'm very limited in traveling.
Mm-hmm.
So I try to get the training I can here in Florida with the different people, different places. And then even with just whoever I wrestle, I try to learn from them. And it's like, all right, maybe I could change something up on this match and this match. It all depends on who you're working and the chemistry and the story you want to tell.
Right. Now, what's the indie scene like down there in Florida? You don't have to disclose your location. I don't want anybody to do that. I always brag that I'm in Superior, Wisconsin. I want them on my location. Come to the shows. Come. What's the indie scene like down there? I know my buddy lives down there now. He hasn't got a chance to get out. He's kind of in the Orlando area there, but
Okay. The indie scene is pretty competitive.
okay,
There's quite a few promotions. Two of the biggest ones here in Florida are Coastal Championship Wrestling, which they
okay,
considered one of the last territories.
okay,
They've been around for quite a few years. And the World Wrestling Network, which is one of the shows that I still work.
okay,
So, they're still running mainly out in the Port Richey, Tampa area,
okay.
which they want to. Their goals is to start traveling again, like they used to.
Very nice, very nice. Yeah, my grandma, she's down that way in Lakeland, and
Okay.
Auburndale area. And
Lakeland,
then
that's Thunder Championship Wrestling.
okay, gotcha.
That's ran by the Tokyo Monster Kahagas,
Okay,
former NWA World Heavyweight Champion.
okay, very nice, very nice. We're trying to get down there for our honeymoon. Randy, take a shot. So I'll have to look for some of that stuff while we're down there. Hopefully she lets me. But it's cool to hear other stories. Like I said, we just had the gentleman from I don't want to give his name away, because I don't want to mess it up or spoil anything if this happens to come out early. But it was cool to hear his story over in the UK and how he's trying to work just like you, get to the traveling, get a taste of what else is out there, and it's I respect what you guys and gals do in the ring, and it's so cool to hear your guys' story because part of me says, oh, maybe if I was younger I would have did something like that, and then I'm like, I'm not athletic, so I've always wanted to be a ring announcer, so that would be the one thing that I would do in wrestling. This show isn't to get me into the wrestling business. It's just maybe to talk on the microphone one time because as you can see, I'm full of myself here. So
you could do that. You could do commentary.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Not every independent show does commentary, but the ones that do is always helpful. It's always good and helpful. Because then you could help tell the story everyone else through the videos and stuff.
And I'd be a good grunt. I like putting up chairs. I'll put up chairs for you, so. So before we get you out of here, what else is on your brain? Anything you want to throw out? Anything you want to tell the people? Life lessons? The floor is yours. I know I've been kind of telling my stuff here too, but we want to make sure that we broadcast you here.
Oh, well, really, I like to tell people, I have a motto.
Okay.
People take it a different type of way, but my motto is blaze the future.
Okay.
Now, I use it because when I was going through my tough times through dealing with PTSD, I didn't realize it, but at the time I was creating a wrestling character and the name would be Blaze.
Okay.
And eventually it was Blaze the Future because then it was a cocky character throughout the years of the game. But then it kind of adopted it as a model because wrestling was my light getting out of the darkness. And I tell everyone now, blaze the future, which means no matter what's in your way, what obstacles on your path, what's gonna hold you back. It doesn't matter what people say, what people do. Just keep your head straight, keep going through, burn that path, burn all those obstacles, and just rebuild that future in your own image. So no matter what it is that you want to do, don't let no one tell you you can't do it. I'm a model of that. People told me I can't wrestle, I shouldn't wrestle, this, and that. And I've had a decent, even just the past few years, I've had a decent career. Yeah, I haven't gone big time, but I'm having fun with what I do. I feel one of the best companies in the state of Florida with the World Wrestling Network, as well as a few other places that I'm working. I've been champion in almost every promotion I've worked on. So no matter what, just go out there and do what you love to do.
Exactly. And, I make the joke I'm small time here, and I was just talking with a friend at work today. Your story, as well as others that have been on here. I'm not seeking anybody out in particular of who I'm asking to come on. I'm just asking who's ever interested to come on. And I've been very blessed with a lot of great stories, yours included. And it's so cool to me that I get to be the one to talk with these people about these things, from, not to bring in politics or religion or anything like that or anything, but, everyone has a story. And that's why I love this concept so much. You talking about your PSD, people with social anxiety, or, like we had a guy on who, has never been to a live event, but he loves wrestling, and I'm so fortunate to hear these stories. And I guess I don't realize how lucky I am to be the one to bring this to people. And if this does catch on, it's not me that's captivating the audience. It's you, the friends, I'm going to using that tagline. I'd love to keep diving into these stories with everybody. I'm getting better each episode. If you're comfortable with it, maybe we could dive in more into that, wrestling and the PSD stuff, because you deserve to have your story told, just like, the Hulk Hogan's and the Randy Savages, man. Like, and I can't thank you enough for that. It's definitely eye-opening, and it's pretty fucking cool, that I get to talk with the people and hear their story. Just like with the collectibles, promote that real quick. This is just a silly little kangaroo from a movie that I loved as a kid. But that's another thing when I talk to collectors. What's that?
I think I remember that movie.
It's Warriors of Virtue. It's a horrible kids movie, but I loved it. And it was like Ninja Turtles, but it was kangaroos. But the collectible aspect of it as well. Hearing from Fuzzy and Toys on My Table how, like Fuzzy wasn't good at school and wanted to be the smart kid, so that's why he gravitated towards Donatello. And Toys on My Table, how he wasn't very good at reading, but he discovered X-Men and Wolverine, and that made him excited to read. These are the stories that have to be heard, And from the collectibles to the wrestling, again, I cannot say that I bring much to the table, but I think this is what I'm supposed to bring to the table is other people's stories. And Nick, I can't thank you enough for opening up and, giving us a glimpse into that, so.
Well, a big thank you to you for even opening the platform for people like me and other wrestlers to be able to tell our stories. Because that's what some of us want to do. We want to be able to tell our stories through podcasts, interviews, however we can. Back in the day, they used to hope to get onto a radio station.
Don't age us. And I had an interview with Matt McCarthy. I'll explain that more off camera to you because that episode will drop here soon, before yours. But it's just like I didn't know some stuff about him, and I acted all cool, like, oh yeah, I knew that. But it's great. I find friends through TikTok. I'm finding friends through Facebook, and I'm so glad that you jumped on board with those other people and said, yeah, let's do this thing. So.
Oh, definitely.
And then Randy's going to eat me alive in the comments. Oh, you're being so sentimental. I thought this was a wrestling show. Shut up, Randy. Take a shot. So is there any socials you want to plug? Make sure you send those to us via Facebook and stuff so then we can start sharing your stuff on Facebook, those promotions. We'll like the pages. But where can the fans find you? Or friends find you, I should say.
Well, I am on Facebook. I do have a like page. It is the King of Battle, Nick Quinones.
Okay.
Instagram, it's Nick_Quinones86, the same thing as Twitter.
Okay.
And TikTok is the same thing, Nick Quinones86.
Perfect. One last thing. I'm going to put you on the spot here. I don't have any hard-hitting questions, so I'm just going to throw one out for you. With your Puerto Rican heritage and stuff, if you could run a show down there, Who would you pick? It can be alive or dead. Who would you work for the main event? Because we know how excited that crowd was for Backlash. This is your dream to work the Puerto Rico main event like a Backlash. Who are you working?
Oof.
Hell, you can book yourself twice. I don't care.
It's
your show. You're the booker. I just want to know who's your dream opponent, alive or dead.
If
you got a manager, throw that manager in there as well. So
something big like that would definitely be Rey Mysterio.
Rey Mysterio, nice. Dom going to be there with mommy. Sorry, I just said.
I don't know if I'm working heel. Dom might be there.
Perfect. All right, Nick. I can't appreciate it enough. We'll wrap this up. I'll play that video package, and then, like I said, if you got to bounce. Otherwise, we'll chat off camera. All right, sir?
All righty, sir.
Perfect. And as you all saw, too, I was drinking out of my awesome tumbler there from Superior Creations. Give them a like and follow on Facebook as well. You'll hear it in the ad. I always lose my voice halfway through these things. All right. Thanks, Nick.
No problem.
All righty here. Hey, friends, thanks for tuning in to yet another exciting episode of Friends of the Squared Circle, where I'm your host, Crander Q, a.k.a. my real name. Now let's jump into the sponsor, shall we? Make sure to check out ChefKeithFoods.com for all of your salsa needs. The best made fresh since 2019. Flavors include Ragin' Reaper, Hoppin' Habanero, Groovy Garden, and more. Check out that website today. Also, check out our friends over at Superior Creations for all of your custom tumbler needs. They are on Facebook.com/Superior Creations MN. Also, Darren Corbin, give him a like on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, and TikTok. Yes, Darren Corbin is on TikTok. And another great way to support Darren is by checking out Patreon.com/Darren Corbin, where tiers start at just $1. Last but not least, make sure you give us a like and follow on all of our social medias as well. We want to thank you for being a friend of the Squared Circle. Tune in for more episodes. Also, if you want to get merch for yourself, you can check out friendsofthesquaredcircle.org for all of those needs. And it's your boy, Crander Q. Crander Q out.